Who knew that a usual task of mending damaged roads would lead to a gigantic discovery? Cambridge witnessed an unprecedented sight when a 14 project worth £1.5 billion with the aim of expanding the motorway was put in exercise. The workers were doing their regular work of excavating the road for expansion when something enormous emerged to the surface. The construction's works on roads can lead to delays stretching up to many hours. The people of Cambridgeshire were facing this delay for many days now. But there was nothing they could do about it as the roadwork was a much-needed thing. The highway was in a tragic condition and needed to be fixed as soon as possible. People had been making complaints about the damaged road for a long time now. It had troubled many people going to work or anywhere else. Now as the process had kickstarted, it was going to take many days to get completed. However, nobody had even imagined that the workers would have to stop the work abruptly. The project was not only time-consuming but expensive as well. The deadline was 2020. But they had to stop the construction work in the middle due to a discovery that the workers had made accidentally. Once again, the citizens would have to wait for smooth and hassle-free roads, not because of the authorities' fault but because of a glimpse from the past that shook everyone who saw it. Construction workers were entrusted with the job of extending the road to resolve the traffic issues. The motorway is one of the busiest roads in the city as the road links many other busy locations of the Cambridgeshire. So when they decided to halt the work altogether, it did generate rage among the people. But soon it quieted down when they learned the reason. Did you know the budget of this project was $1.9 billion? Well, the amount itself describes the significance of the construction. The workers were digging the road for expansion when their shovel hit a hard object. Initially, they thought it to be a big rock or any other insignificant thing. The construction workers usually come across a similar situation. They knew how exactly to tackle this. The worker whose tools hit the object did not take it seriously and went on striking the object until the last coating of the dirt got unlayered. It was a giant white-colored thing and was hard in form and enormous in size. He just had uncovered the tip of the mystery. It was a deep-rooted mystery that they were about to unveil. The astounding discovery by these construction workers mesmerized the entire world and added a new chapter to the history. The man kept staring at the object in bewilderment. What did he just discover? For him, the sight was unbelievable, so he asked his coworkers to take a look of this odd object. Well, whoever came across the object was in awe. The roadworkers knew that from this point on their expedition was going to turn into something incredible. It was difficult to make out what exactly was the object as the major portion of the thing was still tucked under the ground. He kept digging to trace the beginning point of the object. But the surprises began to appear as he dug the place even deeper. He found antiquated pots and pans. Many of them were in good condition. Not to mention, these findings made the man anxious and he called his colleagues once again. His colleagues were equally in awe as the discoverer was. There were piles of household items buried amid a busy road. The worker called his supervisor and told him about his discovery. The man in charge soon realized that it was a matter of archaeologists. He immediately informed the archaeologists, who themselves got stunned on learning about the site. Let's get back to the items found under the road. It may interest you to know that the items discovered belonged to the Iron Age. No need to mention that the discovery had whetted curiosity among archaeologists. The spot was made inaccessible even to the workers. After a while, some archaeologists appeared to the scene only to get astounded. They had never seen anything like this before. Interestingly, the real twist was yet to come out. The team decided to dig the spot to find more like items. But they were going to do that carefully as they could not risk breaking of any of these primitive items. The team was already having a tough time believing that they actually had unearthed a treasure from another century, yet they were about to discover something even more amazing. The team consisted of renowned archaeologist Steve Sherlock and other specialists. All of them were men of great accomplishments and knew a great deal about archaeology. They were overseeing the task of excavation when something really strange emerged out of the mud. The team had content themselves with these antiquated objects when something unexpected began to emerge out of the ground. Now, their curiosity had reached another level. The road not only had buried antiques from Iron Age only but also had restored a remarkable thing from the Ice Age. Steve Sherlock and his team remained in disbelief for the first few seconds of discovering the thing. And after that, they were on the ninth cloud. After discovering the object, they considered themselves the most fortunate people on Earth. They believed their luckiest star were on their side. Maybe that's why the road workers called them in time. Had the workers kept on drilling the ground with the same strength, and it would have broken into pieces, and the remarkable discovery would have been nothing but shattered pieces of past. Let's begin with the beginning. The first question that came to their mind was what exactly this place was in history that has kept so many antiques from bygone days. After a bit of research, they learned that the place they were digging in was an ancient river. Well, this piece of information bred many expectations among them. As it was a river, the chances of finding animal remain increased multifold. But did they find anything like that? You would not believe what Steve Sherlock and his team found buried beneath the once highly engaged road. The discovery had caused a ripple in the world of archaeologists. The team had found remains of massive animals. Having said that, it is important to clarify that the remains were not of any ordinary animal. As mentioned earlier, the remnants belonged to the Ice Age and were of those animals whose existence had wiped off the face of the earth. Many of the remains belonged to a woolly mammoth. It was a historical moment for them. Steve Sherlock did need a moment to sink in the fact that they had discovered this. The real twist was yet to come. The remains of a woolly mammoth dating back to the Ice Age are among the latest remarkable finds from the team working on the A14 Cambridge to Huntingdon project. Explained Highways England spokesman. There were more, they explained. He continued, operatives also discovered the remains of a woolly rhino, both at least 130,000 years old, during excavations for construction materials near Fenstanton in what was once an ancient river. The spokesman further added, they are the latest in a series of fantastic finds from the team building the new road, with other remarkable discoveries including prehistoric henges, Iron Age settlements, Roman pottery kilns, 3 Anglo-Saxon villages and a deserted medieval village. So along with the remains of woolly mammoth, they had also found the remains of woolly rhino. Well, the question is what these two beasts were doing together. Both the creature were prominent ones in their era. Naturally, it was a groundbreaking discovery. Not many people know about these creatures for they no longer exist on the face of the earth. But there are many fascinating facts associated with them. An adult normally weighs in at about 6 tons. Steve Sherlock explains that both the animals used to live in 1560 BC. Well, it is during the same time the Great Pyramids of Giza were constructed. Dean Lomax, paleontologist, suggested, woolly mammoth and woolly rhino were once a common part of the wildlife here in the UK, during the Ice Age. We know this because their fossils have been found at various fossil sites across the UK. However, recent discoveries like this are quite uncommon and it is exciting that they have been uncovered during roadworks. Dr. Boismere said, you've got sedimentary evidence of frozen ground, it was all permafrost at one time. There were no people around, just a basic Ice Age environment. The discovery was bigger and better than what some experts had imagined prior to the excavation. These finds got left behind while everything else floated further downstream, explained Dr. Boismere. There was gravelly sand laid down by the river and these were in the middle of it. Woolly mammoths and rhinos had a large population during the Ice Age. As the name suggests, they used to have a heavy coat of fur on their body. Their fur would immune them from the freezing cold by keeping their body warm. On the other hand, their formidable size would secure them from their predators or attackers. Well, if they were so influential and beastly, then how did they become extinct? Well, the prime reason behind their extinction is increasing global warming. The beasts were used to living in winter. That is why they had big furs to protect them from the unbearable cold. However, soon the global warming took on the Earth and changed the climate for worse. Consequently, the ice began to melt gradually and these beastly animals died out. Another reason behind their extinction was that the human had become quite good predators by then. Good enough to tackle down these beast-sized animals. Their tents usually were made of these mammoths' pelts. Humans also made use of their tusks to design weapons. These huge tusks sell in great amount in the black market. However, road workers had called Steve Sherlock along with his team for inspection. So there was no way these tusks were going to get sold in the market. The team decided to take it to the museum and put it on display for people's view. Paleontologist Dean Lomax calls this discovery exciting and quite uncommon. He also says, it's also important that these specimens are appropriately cared for and conserved. These types of bone, especially mammoth tusk, can deteriorate quite poorly if left untreated, so great care should be taken with these remains. Kasia Godaniak, senior archaeologist of Cambridgeshire County Council, stated, we've been working hard in partnership with Cambridgeshire County Council and our archaeological team to unearth the historical secrets of this area and understand some of the incredible things that have happened in the county. Although our excavations as part of this work will soon be finished, Highways England will continue to respect our country's environmental and cultural heritage across all of our improvement schemes, and we'll be ensuring that the finds from our work on the A14 are well preserved and accessible to residents. The archaeologist further added, Quarries afford unique opportunities to understand deep time periods of land formation and transformation and enable us to understand how humans and animals adapted to the changing climatic and environmental conditions. Gravel quarries, such as the one at Fenstanton, provide valuable evidence of ice ages in warm periods, or interstadials, and require specialist investigation to interpret the evolution of the landscapes represented by the mineral and sedimentary series within them. Dr. Steve Sherlock, team leader of Highways England Cultural Heritage, these discoveries are just the latest in a line of amazing finds that the team has unearthed since this work began at the end of 2016. All of these finds are testament to the rich history of the region, and in particular this local area around the A14 in Cambridgeshire. The consultant Paleolithic archaeologist for Mola Headland Infrastructure, Dr. Bill Boismere, we're going to be starting a major program of environmental sampling to better understand the environment the animals lived in. What was before it and what was after it? You've got sedimentary evidence of frozen ground. It was all permafrost at one time. There were no people around, just a basic ice age environment.